The Phantom Menace, 25th anniversary. First released in 1999 and now 2024. 25th anniversary. The Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1. Written and directed by George Lucas. An all-time epic masterpiece. And first thoughts upon now having seen it again 3 times. First time in theaters for me, seeing this movie for at least 25 years, as far as I know, if that date's correct. And it not only does it hold up, it's even better. It gets better with age. You can see the craft, the work, the heart, and the soul. And it's not even by comparison with any other movie. It stands in a class all its own. Of course, George Lucas is a great director. Brilliant direction on this movie. The continuity, the way the story, you can follow the story. I will say, ages 10 and up. This is an all ages movie with mature adult guidance for children, possibly under the age of 10. But it's a great movie, a fantastic message of people being compassionate towards each other and various cultures coming together, good versus evil. It's a classic story of friendship coming out of adversity, and Jar Jar Binks, one of the most iconic characters ever, if not the most iconic Star Wars character ever. One of the funniest, absolutely hilarious, holds up to any of the funniest characters ever in any movie or TV show ever. He's basically the funniest character we've ever had, that George has ever produced and provided for us here in Star Wars. It's really wonderful to see that Ahmed Best is finally getting the credit that he deserves. Beautiful performance, masterfully performed, wearing that suit the whole time as he was on set, always, and to see it now in reality as it looks on the screen. Beautiful, nice work, Ahmed Best. Possibly Oscar worthy in my book. Sure, certainly Oscar winning in my book. And then, of course, speaking of Oscar winning in my book, Jake Lloyd deserves an Oscar, as far as I'm concerned, for Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace. Jake Lloyd absolutely delivers in this movie, and to see it on the big screen, to see him on the big screen, absolutely destroying, killing, had me in tears, laughing, in awe. It's just brilliant. Oscar winning, in my opinion. Jake Lloyd, for his performance in The Phantom Menace as Anakin Skywalker. And then, of course, we see all of the various characters. This isn't a review or critique of the movie. This is just my thoughts on having now experienced it 3 times in theaters in a week, within a week span of time. After the last time I saw it, I think it was probably 1999, and I think I might have seen it maybe 5 or 7 times in theaters, possibly, and then I watched it on VHS tape possibly 300 or 400 times over the next year or 2 years at least. I would watch it every day on VHS, and then it's one of my favorite movies ever, and also especially one of my favorite Star Wars movies ever. and to see it on the big screen, hear the sounds, see it, experience it as it's designed to be experienced and viewed. Just incredible. The CGI, groundbreaking, breathtaking. The droid army versus the Gungan battle on Naboo is stunning. The CGI ahead of its time in many ways. It does hold up. There is a moral story being told here. It's a beautiful story. The characters portrayed by the actors in their roles here, Boss Nass, amazing. You see all of it, and you can see this, of course, in high definition. You can look at it on your home viewing screen or in any other format, on your phone or on your laptop or whatever. You can see it, and this isn't a frame by frame stop, review, and critique. This is a feeling and a thought after having experienced the movie the way it's designed to be experienced in the theater and in the comfort of a theater. And this was just beautiful. Overall, I say 10 out of 10. Lights, camera, action, acting, casting, directing. This is really on George Lucas. The direction was brilliant. When you see this over and over again, as I did, and again, I'm looking at this 25 years later, and not only does it hold up, it gets even better. The detail, for instance, in the pod race that you see on the big screen is incredibly, almost, I would say, flawless. Continuity, able to follow the direction, the pacing, the movement, the dialogue. Everything moves the story forward, takes you to the next step, explains everything that's going on. The facial expressions alone on some of these characters show you what they're thinking, what they're saying. You see all of this on the big screen. The smallest twitch, the tiniest twitch of the eyebrow, or of the upward turn of the mouth or the lip. You see it all. And Ian McDermott as Chancellor Palpatine is just incredible here. And Darth Sidious, of course, Darth Maul, to see them on the big screen. Duel the Fates, Ewan McGregor, Liam Neeson, giants on the screen as these Jedi Knights. And George Lucas has brought us an epic tale told on a grand scale. And it is a story in a galaxy that's a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. And now we have it here in our time, in our galaxy, and it's just incredible that we're able to experience this as I was able to on the big screen, as it was designed to be seen. And what an experience. I celebrate it. I'll go into more detail on what the details were that I noticed on seeing the movie on the big screen over just watching it, maybe on your phone, even frame by frame, stopping the frames and analyzing the movie. Because when you watch it on the screen, in some ways it's a challenge to take it all in at one time, and you can't stop and rewind and look at all of it. And it's designed to be looked at as a series of pictures presented before you until you get to the end of the story. And if you turn the sound down, you should be able to follow the story, and as well on the big screen or on your small screen. But I will go into some more detail on my overall feelings. It's a very emotional experience, spiritual perhaps. There's a lot in here that is, I would say, groundbreaking, holds up even today as the gold standard in many ways. Jar Jar Binks, absolutely one of the greatest characters ever, not to mention one of the greatest accomplishments in technology for even our common daily use today, but to see it on the screen as a character fully fleshed out, performed by Ahmed Best on the big screen, it is incredible to witness this in the time when the director's still alive and the cast and crew that brought us this movie, hopefully most of them are still alive and doing well. As the telling of this, hopefully they're all doing well. And I know some of the those that helped make these movies and were part of it may not be with us now, but a beautiful story told in episodes, and this episode is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, written and directed by George Lucas. 25th anniversary, just got finished with the third viewing in theaters this week. 10 out of 10. I'll have more detail on the overall experience on seeing it on the big screen, but 25th anniversary, 10 out of 10. Congratulations to George Lucas on a beautiful movie. I think it's possibly one of the greatest at least top 100 of all time in the 20th century, 20th and 21st century so far of movies that have been made. It's really an avant-garde piece, to say the least. So again, 25th anniversary, The Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, written and directed by George Lucas, producer Rick McCollum, executive producer George Lucas. 10 out of 10, 25th anniversary. Yes, congratulations and thank you, George Lucas.
The Phantom Menace, 25th anniversary re-release in theaters. This is one episode of my reaction. First, immediate reaction following viewing The Phantom Menace in theaters after 25 years and having first encountered Star Wars in 1977 at the age of 10. And so you'll do your math there and see what year I was born. And then after that, then came The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, these were amazing movies, and no one had ever seen anything like that up to then. At least I hadn't, and none of my friends had either. It was absolutely incredible, amazing, mind-blowing, imagination expanding. And keep in mind, this is just one part. Well, this whole story here proceeds to my review of The Phantom Menace, 25th anniversary re-release in theaters. But I first encountered Star Wars on the big screen in 1977 at the age of 10. And that's the way you're supposed to watch that movie, is on the big screen. And that's the same way with The Phantom Menace. When I saw The Phantom Menace in 1999, then I was age 33. And then, of course, I took my own children to see it. And at that time, they were 6 and 3. And they were in grade school and preschool. And so, of course, our kids grew up with Star Wars, starting with the Star Wars release in theaters, the specialized editions, which I did take my kids to see all of those movies: Star Wars, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And then, in 1999, we saw The Phantom Menace, and I was just completely blown away. The opening title crawl, I actually remember when I first saw it in theaters in 1999. Electrifying, felt electric in my skin. And part of that was just pure nostalgia, because I didn't know what it was going to be. I thought I knew what it was going to be, but I didn't know, and I was hoping it was going to be what I remembered it was. At the very end of Return of the Jedi, and at the very beginning, which was Star Wars, which by this time we were calling A New Hope. And let me tell you, in 1999, when I first saw that encountered that a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, turmoil has engulfed the galaxy. This is the moment when I knew Star Wars was it. This was the real Star Wars, and it was back. And I actually cried during the opening title crawl at that showing in 1999. And I think I saw that movie at that time, The Phantom Menace, in 99, and whenever else it was released following immediately. Probably at least 7 times, almost always with one of my kids, the younger child, who was at that time 3 years old. And now, again, fast forwarding to our time now, 25 years later, 2024. And then, of course, I'll get to the details of what I think of the movie. But first, the encounter of this movie 25 years later. So, yes, I'm going to get to the details, but first, the encounter. As I said, the encounter initially was Star Wars 77, electrifying, mind-blowing. Never saw anything like it. Loved it and knew it. This is where it all begins. Star Wars Episode 1. It's the same as taking one step from 1977 to 1999 to 2024. This is the real Star Wars. When I sat down in the theater, it was exciting. They had some trailers, and this time around I went ahead and got popcorn, candy, the whole thing, bottle of water, and I was just going to encounter the movie. But I was really excited. I'm telling you, I haven't seen this movie on the screen for 25 years that I can remember. On TV, watched it over and over, have reviewed it frame by frame, written extensively on the prequels, analyzed the writing, performed essays on George Lucas, written these essays on George Lucas. I have lived with these movies since 1999. Watching The Phantom Menace on videotape, VHS, every day for an entire year, 2 times a day for a year. One year in particular, I remember this because every year I would sit down at a certain time and do a certain task that had to be accomplished around the house. And while that was going on, I would have in front of the TV screen, always at all times, playing The Phantom Menace. And this would have been about the year, possibly, maybe 2000. No, 98. No, I'm sorry, 2001. Never mind, got off on a tangent, didn't relate. Got to get back on track here, and that is my initial reaction to having encountered again Phantom Menace on screen after 25 years. And let me tell you something, George didn't miss a beat. This movie holds up, and I mean it holds up and beyond. Just as Star Wars is meant to be seen on the big screen, so is The Phantom Menace. It's supposed to be seen on the big screen. It's a movie, and this is a movie's movie. This is a movie lover's movie. Lights, camera, action, writing, dialogue, casting, acting, directing. This one has it all. I mean, this is up there with any of the classic movies I can ever remember reading about or having personally seen in any venue. Everything I'm not here to talk about any other movies that are iconic or classic in any way, but just a first guess. My encounter with The Phantom Menace 25 years later, breathtaking, awe-inspiring, in fact. Imagination going wild. George Lucas going overboard in a few places, and you can really see it. It's a piece of art, magnificent. And you see it all, you feel it all, you hear it all. As it's designed by the creator to be encountered. Every detail, richness of texture, composition, heart, soul, blood, and sweat. Not to mention special effects and CGI that are literally off the charts, the gold standard by many ways today. Jar Jar Binks looks better than ever. Ahmed Best, amazing performance. This is where you see it on the big screen. This is the last, by the way, this is the last Star Wars film to be shot on film. It looks amazing. Amazing special effects, CGI, meticulously implemented, designed with purpose and with heart. And you can see it, and you can feel it, and you can even taste it and smell it. The richness and the depth of this world that you encounter on the big screen is not the same as you would see it on a small screen or, analyzing it frame by frame. To see it laid out as a story and an unfurling mural, if you will, and a picture of images and sound beautifully combined, the way it was meant to be shown and to be experienced. This is just part one of my first and immediate reaction to and thoughts on the Phantom Menace, the 25th anniversary, re-encountering this movie again 25 years later in theaters. And Jake Lloyd, amazing. This is where he really shines on the big screen. You can really see it. Absolutely moving, laughing, crying. I can't even tell you, really, I gotta take this in the next episode to explain this. The performance delivered by Jake Lloyd and Pernilla August in this movie as Anakin Skywalker and Shmi Skywalker, respectively. It is absolutely heart-moving. And you see this on the big screen. You encounter this. You're enmeshed in the story. You're sitting there, and you are part of this world. And Jar Jar Binks brings you in. It's a movie for all ages, all ages, with mature adult guidance. Also, to encounter it in a theater where you're sitting comfortably as it was designed, with some ambient other noises going on about, possibly bags crackling or people crunching their candy or popcorn or slurping on their drinks, or doing whatever people do in theaters. But that's the way these shows, these movies, these pieces of art are meant to be displayed and encountered within the spectrum of real life and humanity, to encounter it with other people and other human beings. And the artist then presents a piece of art, and yeah, it can be hung or displayed on any venue or in any way. But when it's shown on the venue for which it was designed, and in this case, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace is designed for the big screen. My first encounter with this after 25 years, wow. I literally felt like a 10-year-old again, a 10-year-old kid again, a 10-year-old boy again, if you will, as boys, mostly in the 70s, or mostly my friends that I knew were mostly boys, and we all had the same experience with Star Wars in some way that was similar to one another, to each other. And upon encountering this movie again, 25 years later, I do feel again the same connection with my family, as we have all been watching it and participating with this big event as a family from across the country and around the world, as our family is now spread out all over. But I was able to watch this movie in the theaters with my spouse, and we enjoyed it, and we shared it with our kids again. And it's just been a beautiful experience to being able to see this movie again 25 years later. I felt like a 10-year-old again. You see this on the big screen. The Phantom Menace is designed for kids. It is a kids movie with serious themes infused throughout, embedded in the story and helped along through the characters to explain. The close-ups on the actors, you see this better than ever on the big screen. These are details I'll get into in the next episodes, but suffice to say on this one, The Phantom Menace Episode 1, 25th anniversary rewatch encounter in theaters. After having just viewed it 3 times in theaters over the course of 7 days, I say, not only does this movie hold up, this movie's better than ever, baby. George Lucas, 10 out of 10.